Hi everyone, I'm one of the team member for team number 15, and today I'm going to be representing the coffee shop guide mobile application, which is the final assignment for the mobile application. And this is based on the restaurant requirements, but instead of focusing on restaurant, we just focus on the coffee shop. So now let's talk about the team members. I introduced myself already. My name is Nafis, and I worked on the database management. I also did the create, update, and delete operation of the application. I also did the stage management as well. And we also have Sarah. Sarah worked on searching and filtering. She helped with the design, and she also helped the create, update, and delete operation. And Israr also helped with the sharing and map functionality, and he also helped with the create, update, and delete operation. And also have Roberto. He helped with the sharing and functionality, also with create, update, and delete operation as well. And for Shad, I have to say specifically thanks to him for designing the awesome UI. I think he did a very good job. And he also helped with the bug testing as well, where we'll are able to find the bugs right away and we'll to fix it thanks to him. So yeah, that's for the team members. And next, let's talk about the presentation overview. That uh, I think the presentation is divided into pretty simple part. Part one, we're going to discuss with the technology we use, and the part two is going to be based on the demos. Okay, then let's talk about the coffee shop guide app. Like I mentioned in the beginning, before coffee shop guide app is based on the restaurant requirements from the assignment, and it's a mobile application, but it can be used on both Android or iOS. But we took Android as our main factor or so, and it also let user create, update, and delete coffee restaurants or so. And it's like I would say it's like a crowd operation pretty much, and also allows user to use Google Map to enter correct addresses as well. Also has sharing options via Twitter, Facebook, and Google. And as far as I remember, Twitter and Facebook were like the bonus marks options, and we were able to implement it. And when the demo time comes, I think for sure it's going to show how we did it or so. And next, I'm gonna pass the slides to Sarah, and she's gonna continue from there.
I'll talk about some of the technology that we used and also demo something quickly over here before passing it to the next person. Basically, we used React Native and Expo to implement it, and Native Base to help with designing, Redux and Firebase, Formic and Yup for helping with form validations and Maps API. I'll only be going over the details of why we chose React Native and also why we chose Expo, while everyone else will go over everything else. So, first off, let's talk about Expo. The reason we chose to use the Expo framework is that it comes with a bunch of dependencies, tools, and services right out of the box as soon as you create your Expo app, which really helps reduce from the time that you'd need to set everything up. It also makes testing super easy. You can always have your emulator running on the side, and as you change your code, it refreshes. And sometimes it gives you a little bit of trouble, but overall, I would take it any day over working with Snack. Um, yeah, and it's overall, there are other frameworks for using with React Native, but Expo has a good reputation, and there's a lot of resources on troubleshooting issues when your Expo app doesn't run, which is really important to us because we run into issues all the time. So that's why we chose Expo. And then we've got React Native, which is what we chose to use over Java for Android. And the reason why is that it basically is cross-platform, so you can basically run your app on both Android and iOS over, versus like if you had used Java, it would just be Android. And then there's a lot of community and support for it as well. So again, if you run into issues, there's a lot of resources. And also, another really important benefit of React Native for us was that we could do component based development, which means we could all get started on what we were working on without having to wait on each other. this is where I'm slowly delving into what I did for the project. As Nafis mentioned, I did help overall with the design a little bit, the operations, but I also worked on search and filtering. And well, when we began the project, we didn't have all the projects, so I couldn't filter anything, but I wanted to get started. So what I did was I created another project with a sample list of coffee shops that you see over here. And I basically populated it using a DB.json file, random stuff over here, just names and a bunch of tags down here. I talked to Nafis and asked him, because he did most of the DB stuff, how would we be saving the tags? And he said that it would be basically comma separated names, and the title is called name in our database. So this is name, this is tags. Do the search with this. And so I created a sample list here and also a search bar JS, which is a component that is later integrated with our project as a whole, this way that I have here. You could just put it in as a tag. So just to demo that the filter works, here we have a bunch of names as you see. If I, for example, search Boop Coffee, I don't know why I named it that, you see that it works. If I do it, without capitalizing, it works. Let's do a bunch of tags. I also tried to use the same search bar both for tags and names because, well, a phone screen is really small and you want to save as much space as you can. So that's why I thought a single search bar might be a good idea. Some might not agree. It's a design choice, to be honest. But yeah. So let's search some tags. Let's search for boba. As you see, we've got all the um, places that have boba. Let's search for traditional. As you see, it finds it. I'm Persian, so I added Persian there to see if it works. Yep, so that's this. The demo of the entire application will be later on with, I believe, Farshad. But I haven't pulled the most recent changes, which are, I believe, design changes, but just to show you that I have been working on that as well. Let's open the coffee shop project over here. And if I try to run this, first off, let me close this up because it sort of freaks out when you try to run multiple things at once. So let's stop this one. And then let's go to the coffee shop app, and down here, Expo Start -C. Let's go to our emulator and see what happens. A for Android. So this is the first off, well, it's building the JavaScript again. It does that every once in a while. Give it a second. I won't do the full demo, obviously. That is going to be Farshad, but this is the splash screen. It's the home page. We've got a list over here. We've got the add coffee shop page. We've got the about us page, which could be styled better, but please understand there's a time constraint as well. Farshad will do the demo. This is a problem that happens with Expo. You always get warnings. Yeah. But I will pass this off to the next person who will be going over the rest of the PowerPoint, which is Israr. So bye from me, and Israr, take it away.
Hello, my name is Israr Wahid, and today I'm going to talk about our group project for mobile application development. And I'll briefly touch upon the technologies that we have worked on, as each member have taken some slides where we discuss and mention the reasons for choosing the technology. And then the setup is that at the end, the presentation for the working project will be demonstrated and presented, introduced by Farshad. So without further ado, I will jump right into it. So the reason why we chose Redux, because Redux is a popular choice for managing state in React Native projects, and there are many reasons for choosing Redux for the project. One of the key benefits of Redux is its ability to provide predictable state container. In a React Native app, the state of the app is often spread across multiple components, so that makes it very difficult to keep track of. So with Redux, all of the app's state is stored in a single centralized location, making it much easier to manage and predict the behavior of the app. Another advantage of using Redux is that it avoids the problem of prop drilling. So what's prop drilling? Prop drilling is the process of basically passing props down through multiple levels of components in order to make them available to the child component. So this can become very difficult to manage. So especially with large apps. So with Redux, we can um, avoid this problem by connecting a child component directly to the state store. So this allows it to access the data without having the need to pass it down through multiple level of components. Also, Redux integrates very well with React Native, so it is designed in a way to work seamlessly with React. So uh, that allows us to take advantage of its benefits without having to write a lot of additional code, so making our life easier to develop and maintain our apps in React Native. And then the next thing reason is the next technology that we have chosen, and the reason for that is first, that the technology is native base, and the reason we have chosen that is because native base is a very popular choice for React Native apps, and there are many reasons for it. I'll just briefly touch on two or three. One of it main reasons for choosing that is because it has this first utility first design. uh, Basically, the library is built around a set of utility classes that makes it very easy to create consistent and reusable styles across the app. And then another advantage of it is that it has it allows you to build universal design systems. What is, if you ask what is universal design system, it's a set of design principles and guidelines that can be applied to any type of project, regardless of the platform or technology being used. So with native base, we can easily create the universal design system that can be applied consistently throughout the app, ensuring that every component in the app looks consistent in its design and feel. Um, so uh, that and another thing, it helps us avoid having to write complex CSS for designing, and not having consistency. So overall, it makes life easier in developing and maintaining the overall design and consistency of the app uh, throughout the whole phase of making the app, and throughout the whole phase of the software's life cycle. Then the next thing, that is basically the backend technology, and the reason we chose Firebase for that is because Firebase is ability to offer NoSQL and real-time database. Traditionally, basically what happens is, in relational databases, data is organized into tables and rows, making it difficult to store and manage complex data structures. So what Firebase allows us is that we can use NoSQL database to store and manage and the data store and manage the data in a more flexible and scalable way. And its ability to offer a real-time database allows us to easily synchronize data across multiple clients in real time. So that is very helpful for building interactive and collaborative apps. And of course, it's easy to use, free to use, and easy to set up. So all in all, these are the perks of using Firebase. and I'll just briefly touch upon some of the contributions. Overall, it was an amazing team performance, and the in, some of the contributions that I made to the app, although everyone was helping each other out, so we had to work together on each part. All of us contributed very much to the project, but mainly the stuff that I had to work was on the detail page, and creating uh, the splash screen, and creating the methods for displaying the coffee shop info in the detail view page, and then also creating the sharing method, sharing through email, and then also setting up the Google API feature to basically get the location of the coffee shop. That's all what I have. Thank you for listening, and that's it for me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Roberto, and I'll be discussing our map implementation and other technologies we used. Since we used React Native to develop our application, we had to import map view from React Native Maps. React Native Maps provided us with a map component that uses Google Maps on Android and Apple Maps on iOS, depending on the device that the customer is using. In order to receive directions from the user's current location to the coffee shop, we received an API key from Google Cloud to fetch data from Google's Directions API service that calculates the total distance between locations as well as directions needed to get there.
Hello, my name is Prashad Jalali Amiri. Today I'm going to go over
We
our
also used
project
Formic
for mobile
to help with the
application
development
development.
process of our
This is going
application.
to be a quick demo
Formic
to
helped
show
us
you the
in taking care of
functionality, what we
repetitive
had
and
in
tedious
scope,
stuff, such
and
as
basically
keeping track
show
of
you that we have
values,
implemented
validation,
everything
and
that's
submission
required in
handling,
the
and more.
document.
And lastly, we
First
used
thing you need to do is you're going
YUP,
to do a yarn
a
install, which I've
JavaScript
already
scheme
did.
builder that was
Next,
used
we're
for
going to export
value
start
pricing
C
and
dash
validation.
C, sorry.
We paired Formic
Once
alongside
that
with
is
Yup to
loaded,
help
we're
make
going
our
to
development
run our
process
emulator, which we have over
simple.
here. We're going to open it on our
Thank you
emulator.
for watching this
So
video,
while that is happening, I'm just going
and
to
we are in
go
our
over
presentation.
quickly on the basically components and the requirements that we had and the stuff that we use for this application. We use Firebase and Redux. So if we come over here, let's just quickly look at, let's say, add coffee form. Don't worry, I'm not going to go over the whole code because let's be honest, that's going to take forever. So basic functionality, let's say for adding the form, we're using dispatch, and then we have the add coffee shop async. If we go to the definition, we can see that we're using create async tunk, which is from Redux. And then basically we're storing our data that we have in Firebase, which is the database that we used. All right, so the application has not loaded. I'm just going to quickly reload it. We're going to go over all the stuff that we had in the scope of our application and basically show you the functionality that was required. So once we restart the application, I'm just going to close this terminal so it doesn't give us. All right, so once the application is loaded, as you could see, we are presented with a splash screen, which is what was the first requirement. All right, so this is the splash screen that we have. I'm gonna get rid of this. And then next we're presented with a list of all the coffee shops that we currently have in our database. We're using Firebase again. So we have Tim Hortons, Starbucks, we have Nafisa's Cafe, Roberto, Rashad, Ishrar, and Sarah. So we're gonna go up. We're gonna go to each functionality. So the first one was add new. I'm going to add a new coffee shop. Let's enter a name. Let's say GBC Coffee Shop. I'm gonna add another E. And then since we're using Google API for the addresses, once you start typing, it's going to auto-populate with the suggested addresses. Let's just say George Brown. Let's go with St. James Campus. I'm gonna add a phone number, blah, blah, blah. And then for the description, we're just gonna add GBC Cafe. Next, we have our next requirement, which was tags. So here we have a list of tags. Let's say GBC Cafe has espresso, cappuccino, and it's a cafe. One thing I want you to notice is we're using basically a number for the phone. But let's move on. We're gonna save this. Once we save it, we basically have this coffee shop added into our database, which if we scroll down, we can see GBC Coffee Shop has now been added. All right, next we're going to go into our edit coffee shop. We're going to go coffee shop details. Again, we're not going to go over the whole code, but the basic functionality, again, using Firebase, Redux, and for the design, we went with React Native, which is a library that really helped us build a good design for this application. So we're going to go into GBC Coffee Shop. So next we're presented with the coffee shop details page. Here we have rating, which is the next requirement. The default rating is going to be 3. Let's say we want to change the rating because we have that option. We're going to select 1 star because GBC Cafe is not that good. So we have 1 star, and if we come back to our list, we can see that the rating has been changed. Next, we have our edit. We're going to go into edit. Let's just say I don't want it to be GBC Coffee Shop, and the name was just a regular coffee shop. Regular coffee shop. Let's say the address was wrong. Let's say it's just Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the first one that pops up. Ooh, the phone was right, the description's right. And then these are the previous tags. Let's just add new tag. Let's say we only want cafe and we only want it to be sandwich. So we're going to update this. And then once that is done, you can see the name is changed and the tags, basically the location and everything else has changed as well. Next, we have our delete, which we're going to delete this. So if we run this delete, you can see that the regular coffee shop has now been removed from the list of our current coffee shops that we have over here. We can go, let's say, into Sarah's Cafe. Next requirement was basically using Google API to show the location. So this is the current location that we have for Sarah's Cafe. We need to view it on a large map. So what we do is, again, we're using Google API. So it pops up and we can see a large view of the map and the location. We're going to go back. We need directions to Sarah's Coffee Shop. So we're going to select this. And once we do that, we can see our current location, which is the location of this emulator that we have here. It's finding the best route. And of course, since the emulator is set to United States, it's going to take us all the way over there. And then we can start basically the route. So we're going to come back.
Head west on.
We're going to go to our application. All right, so next we're going to share basically our coffee shop. So we have 3 options. We need the bonus one, which is Facebook, Twitter, and email. The thing about Facebook is because of the terms of services, we can only share the link and we cannot share pre-populated stuff like we're doing in Twitter and email. I'm just going to click on this. So once we click, it's going to take us to the browser version of Facebook. We need to log in. We're not going to do that. We go to Twitter. So as you can see in the Twitter version, we have coffee shop name is Sarah's Coffee Shop. It is located at this location and the phone number is that. Obviously, this is what we're using for Facebook because of the new terms of services. We can't. And if we go back to email, which is this is sharing for email, it's going to open the email app. Again, we can't because we have to log in. But it's going to say it's going to show exact same thing it did for Twitter. If we look at the basically the parameters that we have over here, on email press, we have the information, and this is basically just passing everything. Okay, we're going to come back. Next thing, so we covered edit, we covered add, we covered delete, we covered rating. Next, we have the search bar that we have over here. So let's just say we have a large flat list and there's a lot of information in our database, so we need to search. So we have, let's say, okay, we have Tim Hortons. I'm just going to search over here, Tim Hortons, and as you can see, it's giving us a list of all the coffee shops named Tim Hortons. Let's just say I want to search for Sarah's Coffee Shop. We're going to write Sarah, and as you can see, it is adding everything. So that is the basic functionality. Obviously, we have our About Us page, which is basically showing us giving a description of our project, our names and student numbers, and we have this menu navigation over here. I'm just going to clear this. And then, yep, we have a list of each applications. And then let's just say I want to delete all of these. I'm going to delete Sarah's Cafe. Let's do delete. All right, so now you can see that Sarah's Cafe is no longer in, basically our application is no longer in our database. I'm just going to quickly scroll over just to make sure. And you can see that Sarah's Cafe, even if we search, is no longer in our application. All right, so that is it for our application for Coffee Shop Guide. I just want to give a quick shout out to all the members of this project. Everyone really pushed through for this assignment. I want to give a huge thanks to Nafis, Israr, Roberto for really pulling together and completing this application. For my part, I mainly focused on the design and tried to make it as accurately as possible to the data, to the, wireframes that we submitted in our design document. I hope you enjoyed this quick demo and I hope you have a great day.